Tune in to Heel of the Ring podcast on the Sports Jedi Network channel. May the sports be with you. Because I am the hero the Sports Jedi deserves, but not the one it needs right now. Long live Lexus King.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Heel of the Ring podcast here on the Sports Jedi Network. It's a special Wrestlemania night number 2 preview and predictions. If you missed night number 1, I'll put the description in the video for you to check it out. Check out my prediction for night number 1. But we are talking about night number 2 in the showcase of the Immortals. Yes, indeed. That's that Sunday night affair. And, of course, you see the card there. Right now, 6 matches on the night. We don't know if a 7th one is going to be added. We know that the Kevin Owens unfortunate injury and Randy Orton don't have a match, although wouldn't be surprised at the 0 hour at the last minute on Friday Night SmackDown. There might be a mystery opponent for Randy Orton, or Randy Orton's date might be open, might be Nick Aldis, who knows. But it wouldn't surprise me if they make this a 7-match card or something along the lines. But first and foremost, let's get right into this, man. Let's get into it, man. This WrestleMania, I know everyone's been critiquing the build or the lackluster of the build. I'm gonna give my thoughts on that one. I said that at night 1, and I'm gonna kind of, more I think about it, the more I listen, and also other smart podcasters, fellow podcasters, and other people that I like to listen from here to time. So you always want to hear other people's point of views, because sometimes you get enlightened or you get turned off, either one or the other. And we agree to disagree. I don't agree with everyone, and vice versa. I know we're talking about with The Rock last year getting interjected with the whole Cody Rhodes storyline with Rock night 1, night 2, Roman Reigns, and The Rock showing up more on the build for WrestleMania 40, where John Cena has totally been really absent, other than those 3 European tour appearances. The first 2 appearances attacking the fans or saying blaming the fans, or pretty much cutting promos on the fans, and then the 3rd one with Cody, and then getting a little physical with the physicality there. No adversity for Cody. Maybe that's where the lackluster is. Also, is across the pond on the European tour, where I mentioned it before, where either you're out of the time zone, out of the you're not watching Monday Night Raw, maybe live, you're catching it on the tape, you're catching it on Netflix later in the afternoon, and then with Twitter, with social media spoiling everything, and and then when you see it, it doesn't have that live feel of catching you at the moment, or instant reaction, because you're hearing everyone else's reaction. Let's face it, there's a lot of people that they watch social media and they don't form their own opinion. And again, don't take this as a disrespect or slight. Sometimes people don't tend to use their own opinion. They become parrots. They become internet parrots, where parrot repeats what, and he wants a cracker. And whenever they say anyone says, oh, this is trash, but so-and-so, oh yeah, you're right, I'm going to regurgitate your take or your comment instead of being your own island of relevancy, or making your own comment from your own point of view, your own mindset. What did your ears and your heart or your intelligence captivated or got out of that promo? Not what JD from New York says, and I'm not taking shots at you, JD. I'm just saying, or Dave LaGreca says, or Jedi, or so and so, Joe Blow, or Baba Booey. Have your own opinion. If they have that, that's them. That's what makes them person. That's what makes that person. Have your own thoughts. I always tell everyone, have your own opinion, your own thoughts. You could agree, and you could say, you know what, I agree with his thoughts, and I second that. But you're not going to agree on every little thing. So we're like, that's why I always tell you guys, give me your own thoughts. I want to know what your thoughts is. Don't just agree to agree with me, and so we can move on. I want to, I'm also, it gets tiring to debate everyone as well. So it's like a happy medium. I want to hear your thoughts. And let's agree to disagree, and let's let's be mature enough to hear each other out. So I think this build for WrestleMania, I think that's what it is. We're expecting The Rock to join. And since we don't have The Rock, we don't see it other than the Elimination Chamber when he came out with Travis Scott and had that heel turn. Rock stood back. I felt that he gave this road to WrestleMania build for John Cena. It's his final year. He's going to retire at the end of the year. He feels like if The Rock is too much involved, is he taking the limelight or the spotlight away from John Cena? And it's supposed to be John Cena's last year, his last WrestleMania ever. He wanted him to relish it and savor the build, the road to WrestleMania, the what it feels like to get in that competitive juices of this business that has made him a millionaire, has opened up doors in Hollywood. So maybe that's where The Rock steps back a little. And also The Rock has to ask it felt. I know he did it last year, when especially last year was a merger, but you know, maybe he's juggling. He just had to be in this year in the XFL and took a little bit back, and you know, he I believe he shares responsibility with Danny Garcia, who was his ex-wife, Simone Ava Rain's mom. They both partner with the $7 and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm just speculating. Maybe that's something that, you know, this year wasn't going to put that stress, and he was going to be a little more involved in the XFL, whatever the case was, and giving John Cena his flowers to build for WrestleMania. If anything, anyone should look at an eyebrow or raise an eyebrows on John Cena for his availability or lack of on this build. But other than that, all these matches, this is, some would say the night 2 is a more stronger card or the stronger matches on paper than night 1. I think both nights are fine. And what would you open up this? And I always tell you guys, let's have the creative pencil. What would you open up the WrestleMania card with? What is your first opening contest or opening bout? It has to go with your fatal four-way with the Intercontinental title. Of course, the champion Braun Breaker taking on Finn, Damian Priest, and Penta. And I dislike when they use, that's WWE making multi-man matches and lazy booking. Okay, so where can I ask this question? Where was the lazy booking here? Because Finn and Dominic has a storyline where Finn has been a little bit short, nasty, rude to Dominic, the way he speaks, and Dominic wanted to bring an extra member in since JD's injured and so forth. And no more Damian Priest. He's out of the Judgment Day, so they're not seeing eye to eye who they want to recruit. They try to recruit Penta, who's on fire, House of Fire, coming into the WWE back in January. And Finn and Dominic has some strife about it. He didn't want, how do you want Penta? Penta won some matches, and he called out Braun for the Intercontinental title. You're going to bring him in here? And of course, at that time, Finn, if I win the Intercontinental title, this guy's gunning up for my title right in my own home, you know, and it's in the Judgment Day. I'm paraphrasing. That's a storyline. Braun Breaker has been an Intercontinental champion who's been defending and beating Kaiser, beating Sheamus. Right, he takes on all different comers, whichever one, and then him and Penta try to team up. They have that miscue. They're not seeing eye to eye. Penta has gone into Braun's face. You know, cero miedo. Yeah, he's living the gimmick. He has no fear. He doesn't fear the dog in Braun. That's another story. Remember, I always say this and I say it again. WrestleMania ends. WrestleMania doesn't have an all season. It continues with storylines. You can have the dissension between Finn and Dominic. Remember, Liv kind of got involved after Finn got that Intercontinental title match. She pushed for Dominic to be part of that Intercontinental title, where you could have Finn trying to get the pin and Dominic breaks it up and there's a dissension and all that stuff. Or there's a returning JD McDonough. Where is he? You know, he should be returning, back from his injury. He could be playing a returning factor in the Judgment Day. Carlito's running around. You know, there is no disqualification here. The numbers game. Who do we see winning this Intercontinental match? I think Dominic Mysterio gets another opportunity. You know, he had a North American title run, which helped NXT, and he was a damn workhorse. This is the way you could get the title off of Braun, and Braun could move on either to the World Heavyweight title, become a Heyman guy, whatever the case is or in the chase. Some people like Braun Breaker on the chase. Me personally, if they are going to move on and taking the title for Braun, I wouldn't mind it this way as well for him to lose the title. If not, have him retain and continue going. If Backlash, Penta and Braun would be a hell of a match. I think that would be a one-on-one would be a really good match for Braun and Finn and could continue to bicker fight on Monday Night Raw coming out of that fatal four-way. But if I'm saying right now, I think Dominic wins, and everyone knows I'm a huge Braun Breaker guy. Brunson is my guy. Braun is my guy. He's the future. I've said it time and time again. That's my favorite wrestler right now on this current WWE run right now. But if he's not going to win, I don't mind seeing Dominic Mysterio hold that Intercontinental title in that fatal four-way done right there. Second match of the card, where I think it's going to be the street fight. I think Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, which underratedly, and I'm going to say this with all love and peace, Drew is not my type of wrestler. I find him, he could wrestle, physicality and psychology, Drew could bring it. But when he talks on the microphone, I tend to check out. I find him boring. But doesn't mean that he's not this. He has the opportunity to have one of the matches of the night or the weekend with Damian Priest. It's a street fight stipulation. These guys have bad blood. This is going back since last year. Remember when Damian cashed in and won the title from Drew, so forth. You've seen the back and forth on SmackDown. I think Drew McIntyre, believe it or not, is going to get the victory over Damian Priest. I will be wearing my Damian Priest shirt on Sunday, but I still think Drew needs it. Drew has lost on some big stages on wrestling card, and I think Drew is one of those guys who you could put him in the main event. He will draw, despite the fact that it's not, listen, it's not my cup of coffee. It's not my type for as a wrestler that I want to follow or a fan of, but I still recognize when there's a guy who's a main eventer, who could be a main eventer, who could draw butts to seats. Remember, wrestling is not only catered to me. There's a big community, and there's a community that do like Drew McIntyre. And yes, for what it's worth, I think McIntyre goes over on Damian Priest. It's going to be a physical battle. It's going to be a big physical battle, and I think Drew McIntyre comes up. I think the next match on the card, it's Raquel Liv versus Lyra and Bailey. Interesting one. As I drink some water. Interesting match here because, of course, they ran the gauntlet. Three-time tag team champions in Raquel and Liv. This one I'm going to go on a limb. I think Raquel and Liv win this match, but I could see everyone says, "Oh, could we get a Bailey heel turn?" I think it's going to be opposite. I think Lyra Valkyria becomes the heel in this contest. I think Lyra, when we're going to see, they'll lose, and I think she's just going to snap on Bailey. And I think we're getting a heel turn from Lyra Valkyria. No one's going to expect that. Everyone's expecting Bailey. Also, if Bailey gets attacked by Lyra Valkyria, if there is ever a program later down in the road, a returning Becky Lynch. Remember, Becky Lynch is a protege. Lyra's a protege of Becky Lynch. She looks up to Becky. If once Lyra defends her Intercontinental title over Bailey, I can see a program with Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria later down the road, especially where they're teasing or there are rumors for Evolution in July, around the July 4th weekend. There's a PLE supposedly. That's you see on me, Lyra Valkyria, Becky Lynch, or even Bailey for a triple threat for that women's Intercontinental title. You're bringing two of the horsewomen to fight Lyra for that Intercontinental women's title. Let's face it, what a lot of people are frustrated that it wasn't even defended. I've seen many tweets that says, what's the point of making mid-card titles for the women where neither one are going to be defended at WrestleMania? You have good valid points. That was a good valid point on that tweet. But you can't overstack this card with so many. You already had 6 matches. I think this is a sweet spot on a Sunday night. On the East Coast time where people have to work on Easter Sunday, and neither the less. You don't want to bring too long of a and I think 6 is a sweet spot. I think it's a sweet spot. They could give these matches time if it's needed to go a little over and so forth. So I think Lyra turns heel on Bailey, sets up something in the near, for the future for some more programming work. And could there be a of course, Backlash that will have that match and so forth there. We can't wait to see him. For Liv and Raquel, remember, they're going to have an opportunity. NXT Stand and Deliver is going to have a they're gonna have a gauntlet match or with tag teams for the women for number one contendership at those titles. I believe Tuesday, the following Tuesday in Vegas at the NXT live show in Las Vegas. So we'll have a number one contenders Stand and Deliver. Could they make a show up and just confront Liv and Raquel? We don't know. That's something part of it. I love how NXT continues to intertwine with the women's tag team titles, at least with the main roster. I appreciate that, and I enjoy that. Next matchup, of course, I think this was another one besides Damian and Drew McIntyre. Even that Fatal 4-Way, it's a strong one because Penta, could just do, and Finn in their ring together. Dominic is such a great work, and Braun with the physicality. So that's, these matches here could be all showstopper, show stealer for WrestleMania. But Logan Paul and AJ Styles, I know, that's not really a storyline here with that one. There's not really much of a build. I don't think Logan Paul is in the business to tell stories or isn't able or skill set yet in his second year in wrestling, in his sophomore year to really be a storyteller. AJ Styles, although is in a storyline where Karrion Kross, you saw on Monday Night Raw, is trying to get AJ Styles to be that weapon, that lethal weapon that he was when he came over from TNA. That get that edge, because he sees that he might be on the edge of he might be at the end of his run where we need that AJ style. He's trying to pull that. He's trying to pull the strings. Remember, Karrion Kross has been wearing the shirt with Puppet Master. That's his new. If you look at it, Karrion Kross on WWE merch, he sees Puppet Master Kross. He's trying to pull the strings on AJ Styles to be aggressive, to be vicious. Might need to do that against this young and hungry Logan Paul. Let's face it, who puts on a hell of a good match for not being a full-time wrestler or really going through the grind of the independent scene. Coming off freely from the street as a YouTuber, getting some wrestling training, because he's not totally green. He has had some wrestling training, but be able to now home it down where he's had main event matches against Roman, Cody. Now, and AJ, he's been in the ring with some who's who of wrestlers, and he has not Rey Mysterio. He's not falling short. His matches are entertaining. He may be a prick or a douchebag, but his matches are very entertaining for Logan Paul. You got to give him a lot of credit and a lot of thumbs up with that. I think that has a chance to be a steal of the night match as well. You're like, wow, damn, this is getting even better. And we'll see who I got going over. I think AJ Styles gets a victory. He hasn't won a WrestleMania match in quite some time. I think he gets the victory, and I think Karrion Kross will be more. That's going to bleed into Monday Night Raw, though. But Karrion Kross is like, see, I got you. I told you I was going to get you and help him there. And I think there's a storyline with Karrion and AJ, and maybe even Logan Paul. They bring in part of that. We'll see how that goes. But I think AJ wins. We get the women's World Championship triple threat match: Bianca Belair, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm stumped. I don't know if they want to put Bianca to win that women's world title and put her on Monday Night Raw, especially with her husband being on SmackDown, and they kind of want to travel on the same nights to go back and forth. So that's what kind of disqualifies Bianca. I personally, my heart, I'm a big Bianca Belair fan. I would love Bianca to win the world title. I don't think she wins it though, because of the moving her to Monday. Although the draft is coming up soon, where they might be able to switch to Mondays, Bianca and Montez, whatever the case is. But I'm not going to go by that. I think I'm going to go as if right now, and I think Io goes back over. I think Io retains. Io goes over. Io beats Bianca because I think Bianca has still more story to tell with Jade and with Naomi, especially if you saw my night one prediction, if there's something were to happen where I mentioned that Nia Jax interferes and Naomi gets the victory, and then Jade is so hot that no help from Bianca yet again. You left me to get beat to get left there in the card, almost taken out. And now that I needed you to get my back, girl, you were too busy selfishly worrying about your world title match. Nah. And they could get into each other's face in their program. They could tease it. Like I mentioned, just the videos there. They could tease it for the summer. The Evolution for that could be a main event, Jade versus Bianca, or even SummerSlam. When I tell you again, I say time and time again, SummerSlam is their big build. But I think it's gonna be bigger than WrestleMania with storylines and just the whole feel into it. I know some people say it felt like the WWE going into WrestleMania, road to WrestleMania, felt a little bit like they were mailing it in. They knew they already had the bag set. People were going to come, record-setting numbers of folks with a high ticket price sales, and they were going because it was mostly John Cena and Cody Rhodes, and the rest, they felt like, they didn't need to really work hard. That's some perception from some people, and they didn't need to intrigue us with it. I disagree, but I'm not going to go on that whole rant on that or that whole soliloquy on it. I'll just move on that. You think what you think on that one, and I'm not anyway. It's too late anyway. I can't change your mind. The build already happened, of course. And then we get to the main event: John Cena, Cody Rhodes. Do we see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Triple H already said that Travis Scott will be in WrestleMania weekend this weekend. So Travis Scott, I hope you be ready to get a receipt, because I think a receipt is coming your way, my friend. But it's going to be entertaining. Who wins this match? Right now, as I'm doing this video, I'm still 50-50. Seriously. Because it would have been a no-gone conclusion, John Cena. But I don't know. I kind of want to say John Cena, but here's the thing that worries me about Cena, his availability. You put this world title on John Cena. If we're going to criticize the Death Riders and not seeing the world title, but I got to give criticism, and also I got to give compliment. At least Jon Moxley shows up. Regardless of the fact that he's hiding the title or not, Moxley's on TV wrestling. He'll wrestle an opening contest. He'll wrestle a match unnecessarily getting nails in his back. Some might say stupid, not stupid. It's not a WWE AEW thing. But my point is, if John Cena wins this world title, and let's say he's got a limited schedule and he's the champion, you don't see him, or you don't cut no promos. Kind of feels like that AEW title hidden in the briefcase. The WWE title, you can't see it. So maybe he did say he was gonna wreck wrestling. I don't know if that's the way, but at the end of the day, who will win this title? I don't know. Because here's one thing I'm really disappointed, that I'm gonna give a little kudos to the people that said the build was a little lackluster. Remember last year for the road to WrestleMania, when The Rock wasn't around to do the concert in Memphis, he was cutting videos on Instagram, attack Cody Rhodes, and involving Mama Rhodes. He was entertaining, even if you weren't watching SmackDown or Raw. You were watching the social media. I don't know why John hasn't done it or hasn't cut anything, similar to that, or maybe that's just not John Cena's style, or maybe he doesn't like it. I don't know. But man, if you were to some video, some type, at least one or a couple times, you're in sight. If you're out of sight, out of mind, you become irrelevant. And I don't want that with John Cena winning the world title. But I think John Cena becomes world champion. I think he's number 17. I think Cody makes money on the chase. He'll eventually return with that title. Also, some time off, couple of weeks, just a couple of weeks. It doesn't need to be months gone. Just a couple of weeks, 2 weeks off, just rehash or retool, revamp himself. You're also going to have guys, you got matchups with John Cena if he wrestles with, Punk, Randy Orton. You can have so many different things. You have world champion versus world champion, Joe Hendry, John Cena later in the summer, if they both were champions or whatever the case is. There's so many different things there, for John Cena and fresh round. And I always say, Cody beats John Cena. What's next? What next? Who's the next? Has WWE really stepped up? Maybe Gunther. If Gunther to Cody Rhodes, but then what's going to happen with Cena if he loses? What's the whole trajectory after that? Is it's going to go around and having matches to have match sake, go after the Intercontinental title, But I think that's why I think John wins. I think John wins. I think there's money. A heel John Cena with the world title, Cody Rhodes chasing in the crowd, and I think there's money there, but I could be wrong. But I think I'm going with John Cena winning this there. I think over and all, the WrestleMania, when this weekend is over, it's going to be a good one. I think the build was a little underwhelming to some of most people, and I think the matches and the card is going to deliver. It's not going to be a WrestleMania 9 when they were last time in Vegas. They're going to have they're going to have 55,000 each night. They're going to have 105 to 110,000 people at WrestleMania in Vegas. I think it's going to be a success. I think it's going to be fine. I think they'll do good. I think the matches will deliver. The performers are going to deliver. Surprises. I think we'll get some surprises. Could we see a Stone Cold Steve Austin interject in that main event? You could possibly. There could be possibly a Stone Cold come out, help out. We have definitely. I think we're seeing Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I think The Rock has to be here this WrestleMania that would go away to attack Cody with John Cena. He's his champion. He has to be there for his grand champion to bring him the gold. Does Rock enter when Cena wins? Does Cena hand over the title to Rock? Like similar to Andre the Giant, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Not that Rock is going to make him champion, but I provided this for us. Don't know. I don't know how that's going to look. Is Stone Cold come out and win a referee bump and try to neutralize, but he gets taken out, or is he, or is there a third man with the Rocks? I've said it time and time again. If they would have had a third man build throughout this road to WrestleMania and cutting promos and Cody, I think it would have been, because you needed a punching bag for the heels. If John Cena wasn't going to be there, it would have been good. But they didn't go with the third man. But it is what it is. This is going to be a good WrestleMania. I think it's going to be a good one. I have a feeling we're going to be like, wow, this was a good weekend. Fun and all weekend and all. But that's what your thoughts. Let me hear your thoughts. Let's see how it goes. And by the way, we're doing the watch along on our playback app. We have Playback TV app where it's the Wrestling Heal the Ring podcast. You and of course the description will be in the video. Come check it out. Come hang out. Come watch along with us. React with us. I want to hear from you guys. I know what the Heal the Ring crew is going to say, and we're gonna have fun talking and watching WrestleMania. We want to see you guys in the chat. If you want to be on panel, we're looking for pundits, contributors to the Heal the Ring podcast. If you want to be a content creator, part of the Heal the Ring podcast to talk wrestling. It doesn't have to be if it doesn't have to be with us. If you say, hey, listen, I would like to do I have an idea of a wrestling program. But I kind of have idea that I'm kind of want to go solo. I've got a friend. Contact me. We'll come up with a wrestling show. You want to do a wrestling show? And I have the channel here. We're about 50,000 subscribers. 50 subscribers away from 20,000. I said it backwards. So we're 50 people away for 20,000 subscribers on the channel. We're growing the playback channel. It's growing large numbers. We have almost over 10,000 followers on X. So we're getting high on Facebook, Instagram, Kick, Rumba. We're almost 1,000 followers on Rumba there. So we continue to grow on all our different platforms, but we want to continue to grow. We want to bring in some more content creators or folks that just want to have an opportunity to. I've never done a podcast. Would you like to do one? Come on in. And we're looking for, of course, the talented ladies, the talented ladies of wrestling community that want to have a podcast with you ladies, a round table, have 3 different or 2, and just talk about professional wrestling, hear your point of views. Of course, we want to hear you. We want to, I don't mind producing it, making the thumbnails, making the videos, making the introduction. All I need is your talent and your analysis of the wrestling world that you're watching. If it's AEW, WWE, TNA, is the world professional wrestling, please contact us. We definitely want to hear from you ladies. You have my email address. Definitely all that will be in the video description. You can follow me on X. You can follow me on X at BXJedi76. You can DM me. You can send me a message. I don't like at times I send DMs out, but I don't want to. But when I want to recruit ladies, it's kind of weird for me to send a DM to you ladies. Happily, because I don't know if everyone thinks it's something a con man or getting nasty or fresh. No, I'm a happily married man of 30 years. I'm just looking for talented women to join our podcast and listen to you, because especially when I get frustrated when I hear men don't want to give the ladies the flowers or say I'm not invested, or I don't like it. I want to hear you ladies, because then I'm like, oh, you guys are being too sexist, or you're being rude to the men, to the women. You only cater to the men wrestling. You don't talk about the women wrestling. I want to hear you ladies. It's not about a gender thing. I just want to hear your thoughts. I want to see that voice, and I say, yeah, we're represented well. So that's my dream and all that. So join us, be part of the Sports Jedi Network, Heal the Ring podcast. And of course, enjoy WrestleMania weekend. Hope this video, give me thumbs up, likes, and hey, comment below. So thank you guys. We'll see you next time here. May the sports be with you.